Hello everybody, this is SMK again, and today we're going to talk about what we can reasonably expect from Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2. This isn't necessarily about what I expect, it's what everybody should be expecting from this game, and no, we're not going to talk about unrealistic expectations or pie-in-the-sky ideas like what people typically do with brand new games that get announced, and they let their hype go through the roof, and they have all these, really high expectations of the game. No. See, we're going to be realistic here. And so, right off the bat, we can pretty much tell from the trailer that this game will have a story that will take more advantage of the time traveling aspect. And what that basically means is we'll actually be able to have a direct effect on some of the things in the timeline. We won't be able to change everything, only key moments the developers want us to be able to have a choice in changing. Whether or not that's actually a choice that we actually have is kind of up in the air, as in, like, if we are actually deciding whether we want Bardock to still die, or whether we want to save Bardock, or if we want to save a future Gohan, for example, or if we still want future Gohan to die. More than likely, it's going to be still linear in the sense of you don't actually have the choice, it's just what happens in the story. And it will be better in the sense that at least we will get some what-if stuff out of that, which should be really cool. So that's one thing I'm expecting, and we should all reasonably expect, is the story will be better in that sense. It will they're willing to take more risks this time around, because the first game they were really just testing the waters with the story mode. They weren't really sure if people would take to it very well, because after all, we had been used to getting the same story recycled to us year after year after year. Okay, so the next thing that I believe that we should be seeing in this sequel is better netcode, and this basically includes hit detection. The first game's netcode was laughably bad. It was just it was serviceable, but it really did decline in functionality as time went on, and that's mainly due to the player base. You get players that are, I don't know what the matchmaking algorithm was or anything, and you don't really know who you get matched up with as far as region or distance or country goes, and all you have to go on is a bar, and the bars may as well be inaccurate, because most of the connections were pretty bad, both in terms of latency and whether or not you're actually hitting somebody. Because people could just fall out of combos, or they don't get hit, or something desyncs from both players for a second, and then the game takes a moment to resync. So hopefully, and I think this shouldn't be something that should be should be impossible to expect, is better netcode. Now, it's up in the air whether we will get better servers, or more servers, I guess I should say, because while the first game had some serious server problems at launch, and even though they made a lot of money on the first game, they sold a lot of copies, Bamco still might be hesitant or wary to give Dimps more servers to work with, or what have you. So, hopefully, maybe they will spend even, more of that money on better servers, or more servers, or whatever. That's something that is questionable. Probably not really something I would expect, just questionable. So then another given one is, expanding on the customization features for characters, items, for your custom character, just giving us more clothes, more facial features, more hairstyles. Maybe they will do this for Super Saiyan hair. Well, it'll be spikier or something. But in my mind, that's so unrealistic if they're going to add even more hairstyles, because then they have to do a second model for the spikier variant of that hairstyle, and that's doing 2 times the work. Is it possible? Absolutely. Will they do it? It's up in the air, as far as I'm concerned. The next thing is obviously also, I was part of that, expanding on, the movesets, giving us more skills, new skills, kind of like how Budokai 2 did. Budokai 2 added more skills and moves and stuff as they added more characters. So that's pretty much a given. Along with this, I expect them to rebalance some of the old skills, or repurpose some of them, because a lot of them were pretty bad. You had your Kamehamehas and Majin Kamehameha. You had your Kamehamehas, you had Big Bang, but a lot of the key attacks from other characters, like the volleys and the key blast attacks and stuff like that, were all incredibly weak and just no one really used them. And there were some strike attacks that no one really used. There were only like the go-to strike attacks were like Orin combo, and there was that other one. There was the sword attack that teleported you towards someone and you slice them. That was a go-to strike attack. But really, outside of like maybe 4 or 5 strike attacks, a good 10 or 15 of them were awful. So that is something that we should expect to happen, I think. A sequel generally tries to improve upon, old stuff. So, should be obvious. Adjusted transformations, like the transformation system. Basically, hopefully I expect them to completely remove the Super Saiyan's, ability to continually use ultimates and supers without ki being depleted. I'm hoping along with that means that the requirements to do an ultimate, like say you need 3 bars of ki to do an ultimate. Hopefully that will be in place for the Super Saiyan transformation, because in the first game, if you didn't know this, you can do an ultimate with 1 bar of ki when you're a Super Saiyan, when normally you need 3 ki bars to do an ultimate. So that was part of what also made the Super Saiyan spam really dumb. And then, of course, maybe possible new transformations for other races, but that's kind of up in the air too, because there's a specific reason why they didn't want to do that, most likely. And it comes down to the fact that customization, people are going to want to customize those transformations, and that can get really hairy and messy, especially with the Frieza race. Because people are going to want, cooler armor or what have you. I mean, maybe they'll be able to do it. We'll see. Okay, next thing is really big that I'm expecting, but also really, really hoping for, because it's not really something that is a given necessarily, but it should happen. It should, given the amount of complaints for it. More options for PvP lobbies. Player versus player lobbies. Basically allowing us to change the timer. We can have, either an infinite timer, maybe not, or just longer matches. Restricting custom characters, being able to restrict custom characters so you can only use the original characters. Other rules that could be put in place would be nice, like, I don't know what other rules exactly, but maybe something like, no items, turn off items, turn off Z-Souls, something like that. Just give us more options, more options for when we're creating lobbies. And then finally, one of the last things I think we should expect is the combat to be improved or adjusted in some way. There were some minor issues with the combat in the first game in terms of tracking and whether or not you would whiff your melee attacks. There was some other issues with it, like the stamina system was kind of awkward. I would like them to kind of adjust that in some way, rehaul it in somehow. Vanishing was, I really feel like the back attacks to counter vanishes, I don't know if that's actually really a good counterplay system. I feel like there needs to be more counterplay for vanishes, because outside of that, you can't really do anything else if you predict a vanish. You kind of just have to do the back attack, and then you may or may not get a combo because of the hit detection. And then, of course, using vanishes offensively wasn't really rewarding. And part of that was, again, because the hit detection, you could completely flub, miss a combo at the cost of 2... Yeah, 2? Was it 2 stamina bars? I think it was 2 stamina bars to do an offensive vanish. I completely forget. I think it was 2. I think if they want to encourage more offensive vanishes and combos in general like that, like free-form combos like that, they need to make it so the vanish either doesn't cost as much, or there needs to be some other bonus to doing the vanish besides the combo, because the character can easily fall out of it. Or, something else can happen that causes you to drop the combo that's outside of your control. But yes, those are pretty much my expectations. I think what we can reasonably, not my personal expectations, but what we can reasonably expect in the sequel. Obviously, this also doesn't go over how there's going to be more parallel quests, and there's probably going to be maybe a better world tournament thing, stuff like that. So if you liked this video at all, please leave a like, and if you agree, comment below basically. Please subscribe for more videos like this in the future, and let me know if I should continue to do these, because they do take quite a few, take a little bit of time away for me to do, and I'm just trying this out and seeing how it goes. So, thank you, and have a good day.